Hello there, I'm Jump. I've got two movies to talk about in this video, so let's jumpy right into this. The first movie is The Monster, which is a 2016 horror movie distributed by A24. It was written and directed by Brian Bertino. He's best known for the movie The Strangers, which I haven't seen, but I have seen The Strangers 2, aka The Strangers Pray at Night, aka The Strangers Leave Us Alone, aka The Strangers Leave Me Alone, and Bertino only co-wrote the sequel. You'll hear me talk more about that movie someday because I plan on revisiting it and doing a video. But back to The Monster. Critics seem to like this one, but audiences don't like it quite as much. I used to think I was still an audience, but apparently a few casual review videos turned me into a critic because I thought this one was really great. The Monster is about a divorced woman named Kathy. She's played by Zoe Kazan, who I saw most recently in last year's movie She Said. Her character here struggles with alcoholism and makes some truly awful parental decisions. This is a very frustrating character. You can see at times that she cares and loves her daughter, and you just want her to get it together and be a good mother. Her young daughter Lizzie, who's played by Ella Ballantine, is stuck with this. She's been through a lot of shit and has to take on a lot more responsibilities than she should looking after her mother. At the start of the movie, Lizzie is eager to go somewhere, and it's difficult for her to wake her mother up after a night of drinking. It turns out Lizzie wants to go live with her father, so when her mother is finally ready, it's road trip time for Kathy and Lizzie. Along the way, they get into an accident and hit a wolf, and they get stranded in the dark, rainy night. And you know what? There's the monster lurking about. This movie works very well as a drama, showing the relationship between a mother and daughter. There are some very powerful moments and flashbacks, and you see how far this pushes Lizzie. I will say now that I definitely was more invested in this as a drama than I was in all that tangible, scary monster trying to kill everyone stuff. So yes, this is a horror movie. There's some creepy moments and a few surprises. A little tension here and there. It's not bad by any means, but it's just not where the movie shines the most. There were a couple spots where I just wanted things to go one way, and I was actually taken aback when they didn't. It's incredibly obvious in hindsight that things weren't going to be that easy for the characters, but I cared enough that I just really wanted them to be. It worked and threw me off in the moment. Clearly this one isn't for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. More for the family drama than the horror. It's a great little movie and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Next up is Knocked Up. I don't have much of an intro for this one. It's the Judd Apatow movie that he directed between The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which I didn't like very much, and Funny People, which I reviewed and really loved. So where do I fall on this one? Knocked Up tells the story of Ben, played by Seth Rogen, and Allison, played by Katherine Heigl. Happy about her new job promotion, she celebrates by going to a club with her sister. There she meets Ben, and they end up having a one-night stand. After finding out she's pregnant, she gets back in touch with Ben, and more wacky shenanigans ensue as their relationship develops. I'm not going to dance around this. I like this movie a lot. Some of it is dated, and there are jokes that definitely fall flat. However, a lot of it worked for me. I was chuckling and smiling quite a bit with a few hilarious laugh-out-loud moments. It's very raunchy, but there's some genuine emotion here, and it can be very clever and smart. The movie feels a lot more focused than The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and it's better with its running jokes, some of which are pretty good. Even if it's just a small reference to an earlier line, it feels a lot more tighter and planned out, not to mention funnier. Another cool thing I liked was, I'm not sure if I can call this foreshadowing since they might not have known this at the time, but the movie mentions a few things that actually come into play in Apatow's next movie, Funny People. So there are things that would be called back to later. I wasn't taking notes, but two of these things were bringing up Everybody Loves Raymond and the actor Eric Bana. The last thing is that Seth Rogen makes a joke about getting punched in the ear, and then that actually happens to his character at one point during Funny People. I may have missed others. I'm going to assume the first two came true just because Apatow and gang are fans of Ray Romano and Eric Bana. And I'm not sure if the third thing is just a coincidence, but I want to believe that it was intentional when they made Funny People. Also, I think it's awesome hearing Paul Rudd talk about a Spider-Man movie, when just a few years later he'd get to play Ant-Man and meet a different iteration of Spider-Man. In classic Apatow fashion, the movie can be a sitcom at times, But that's not a bad thing, and I like how they pulled it off. It has a lot more weight to it than the average sitcom because it feels like there's actual consequences to things. The movie's romance works really well. I liked the two leads and I wanted them to be together. It could be very sweet and some dramatic moments were really effective. I watched the theatrical version, which is already over 2 hours long. It never dragged for me. There are a couple things that I thought happened a little too quickly, but that's only a minor gripe, and the movie does cover a long time period. This wasn't a total surprise that I liked this, but I'm very glad I did. I enjoyed it a lot more than the 40-Year-Old Virgin, but not as much as Funny People. I'm gonna give Knocked Up a 7 out of 10. If you're in the mood for some instant Rogan, a couple Heigl bites, and a bag of cool raunchy Doritos, then check it out. I quite enjoyed both of these movies, and I definitely recommend both if they sound interesting to you. Well, that's all I've got. I'm gonna make like a tree and bark until somebody lets me outside. Take care, everyone.